Good evening, everyone. How are you guys doing? Okay. Welcome. It's Wednesday night. Dispatching 101 training for beginners, basic training. What I'm going to do tonight is do a walkthrough of the website, overall navigation for the newer people, and for about maybe 30 minutes, and then do Q&A the rest of the way for you guys on basic level. Since it's basic Wednesday night for the beginners, try to keep your questions on those lines, basic level questions. Don't get too deep because we don't want to lose anyone, if you will. Okay, because so tonight is usually catered for the beginners, those who know very little, if anything. So we try to keep it on those lines. Okay. All right. So for the newer people coming in, welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for signing up for the training. And I hope you get some good content out of it. I've been making changes and having my team make changes to the site, updating everything. So this, what you're looking at here, is what's called the members portal. So when you first enroll, so I'm gonna do a simple navigation for about 30 minutes and then open the rest of the training the other hour to hour and a half. We want to, I'm going to end it at 8 o'clock, irregardless of whether there are questions up in the air or not. We'll just have to save those for the next training. We want to keep it at or under 2 hours per training. Want to be too long. Okay. Can you guys hear and see me? Just want to make sure of that. All right, thumbs up. Mike, what you cooking? It smells good. All right. So I'm letting people in as we talk. Okay, shrimp risotto. Wow. Okay. So anyway, when you guys first enroll, the new people, those who enrolled and you got your email and password approved to get access to the members portal, after you did step 1 with the email and password, you click the link for step 2, okay? And now you are in the members portal, okay? So let me let people in here. And let me mute because I see a lot of people coming in simultaneously. All right. Mute all. Okay. So you're in the members portal. So now when you first get into the members portal, right here, please watch members portal video, this video tour. This is a tour to kind of give you an overall idea of what your experience is going to be once you're back here, because this page, if you scroll down, contains the content that you will be studying and going over, okay? So this is the page. So going over this, of course, the tour, 35-minute tour. So I just wanted to click it just to see what it was. It's 35 minutes. So on both sides of the screen, please watch our members portal video tour. Please watch our members portal video tour, right? Next, of course, orientation. You click your orientation button. So I just want to give you an idea where everything is. So, because I get a lot of questions, a lot of similar questions, and I actually created an FAQ. I'm gonna cover FAQ after I go through this also. So the orientation is just that. It's just a brief orientation. Say, hey guys, welcome. Thank you for your purchase. On this page also, you can download, this is the page where you download your 3 ebooks and your glossary to have as your content in your possession, print those out, so on and so forth, okay? The 3 ebooks, the glossary, PDFs, right? So you play the orientation videos, about 3 minutes, no more than 4 minutes. Okay, I just created a new one, updating the different areas on the site. Okay, so you guys, so we can be current, right? So that's the orientation page. You scroll back up, you click back, you come back to the members portal. Okay. And the business setup page is just that, information only. I should have underlined that, so because people actually want me to literally set their businesses up for them, and I don't do that, but I do give you information that you can use, right? Like, for example, I just got a call from someone asking about the North American industry classification system, the code that they put in for dispatching. And I think it's 484121 for general freight trucking, long distance truckload. So if you click the link or the image, it'll take you to the actual website and shows that. So when you are applying for, like if you were at a particular third-party site and you're creating a business, it usually asks you for a identifying classification code for your business, which is the NAICS. It used to be the SIC code, but I think since 1997, that was replaced by NAICS, okay? But I did put some information about the SIC code as well. I actually defined what the NAICS is and the SIC. It's a 4-digit numerical code that categorizes industries that companies belong to based on their business. So SIC codes and NAICS codes, classifications for the transportation industry, for logistics, if you are going that route. And here's a video that breaks down the business information area. It's about 4 minutes. So you watch that too, it kind of breaks it down. So every particular subsection has a video and detailed information about that specific subsection to give you more detailed content that you can have when you're going over the particular sub area in the members portal that you're located at that time. Okay, so I'm trying to make sure that the content is user-friendly and current for you. In addition to being in the business setup information only page, you have all these different resources here, the links to how to set up your business, whether you do InkFile, LegalZoom, or any of these. If you click these, they go to the actual websites. So if you decide to set your business up third party, then you can reference one of these and see which one provides the better service for you. And then we have LLC documents, recommendations. Okay, so this is just content for you to read. And then I got a button down at the bottom where I click back to the top and it'll take us back to the top. And that should be on every page now. So I want to make your user experience and navigating the portal a little bit more smoother for you, right? So now let's click back. So after the business setup and orientation, we get into the actual training modules 1 through 4. And I'm gonna show you something what I did also that probably you guys will probably be happy with as well, because a lot of people were asking about that. Someone says, I'm cutting in and out. Okay. Hopefully that's better. So the meat of the members portal, the back office members portal, is the 4 modules. Remember, everything back here is self-paced, learn as you go for all you new dispatchers. And if you have questions, the live trainings is where you will come to have those questions answered. And then on specific subjects that we talk about, we'll stay focused on that subject for that particular training. And then afterwards, we'll be able to get into some Q&A about that specific subject at that time. So when I announce trainings going forward, I will also put what the topic of that specific training may be. I'll say carrier acquisition, and we'll go over module 1. We'll talk about the quiz, the answers, and things like that. So could you please show us how to get to this part again? I certainly can. So when you first come to the home page of the overall website, okay, this is the home page, exodusdispatchingandtraining.com. Okay. So I'll put that here in the chat. This takes you to the home page. Everything you're doing as dispatchers, of course, will be under dispatcher one-on-one. That's what your main focus. You may reference ELLC services sometimes if you want to do consultations, if you have some referrals, if you want to look at video testimonials, or if you want to look at some affiliates and partners to contact either my CPA or what have you. You can navigate that. But your main focus will be here under dispatcher one-on-one, under the members portal access. Okay. So when you click the members portal access, that takes you to where we were just talking about right here. Okay. So now you're in the main area where all your resources and tools and modules and load board access and things that you're needing to assist you in your dispatching journey is located under the members portal. Okay. So we were at the modules, self-paced. Remember, this is self-paced, learn as you go. You know, module 1, how to acquire carriers, learn the techniques to get carriers, equipment types, and contracts needed. So click get carriers under module 1. Now you are in module 1, carrier acquisition. There's a small video there. And I added something here. So we have workflow of dispatching. We have the content in module 1, the quiz in module 1, and now the answers to the quiz in module 1. Because people were asking, well, where are the answers at? So I put the answers in the modules now. So I didn't want to do that because people will be like looking at the answers sometimes before going over the quiz, right? So, but now the answers are there too. So try the quiz without going over the answers, and then look at the answers to check your work. And I need to update the module 1 content and create a more current quiz with the answers to keep pace with the new design of the website as well. So, and that will be coming downstream. Okay. So, but this is module 1, carrier acquisition. You will go through this self-paced. You can read through the module 1 PDF. Okay. Then we talk about equipment types. We get into the 3 major equipment types that we reference: the dry vans, flatbeds, and reefers. If you have questions, save it to when I'm finished, because I'm only going to speak about 30, 45 minutes tops, and then I'll open it up. I just want to navigate through different areas to show you what things are, so that the majority of you will have an overview of where things are. And of course, this is recorded, so you can go back and watch this, okay? So we're in module 1 of the 4 modules, where this is the equipment types, okay? Flatbeds, reefers, and dry vans, and the other specialized equipment types that we talk about sometimes. As a matter of fact, a box truck carrier called me with 5 box trucks that he needed a dispatcher for. I told him, no, thank you. So, because I didn't want to put you guys through the stress of trying to find freight for 5 box trucks. So now if it was a carrier with 5 dry vans, I would have got his information and brought that up tonight in the class and say, hey, who wants to dispatch a carrier who has 5 box trucks? I mean, I'm sorry, 5 dry vans. So, but that's, I try to keep you guys stress-free, right? So, and next, these box trucks, power onlys, hot shots, and sprinter and cargo vans. These are the specialty equipment types, okay? The 3 major ones are the dry vans, flatbeds, and reefers, and we'll go into details. If you have questions about them and the specifics of it, write them down. So when I'm done speaking in about 15, 20 minutes, we can do the Q&A and go over that as well, okay? I just wanted to cover the overall navigating of the site, and then we'll get into some Q&A. And then we got a carrier call script, an example of one, methods used to acquire carriers, truck stops, cold calls, with cold calling. And then right here, I added, so remember I put on the YouTube channel, our YouTube channel. And if you are a new member, if you haven't joined our Facebook group, members only Facebook group, or our YouTube channel, Dispatcher 101, do so, because there's a lot of content for you as well there. But I recently posted a YouTube video of how to navigate the Safer website to vet carriers. Well, I put that here since this is a Safer website. I just say you can click here for the vetting video, so you can go directly to that after having as opposed to having searching for it, is more convenient right here, where if you click this link, it goes straight to that YouTube video of that video that I made of navigating the sales. Okay. So I want to make it user friendly and quick access availability, if I'm saying the words correctly. And these are the same links. It's just on either side of the screen. Somebody may be mobile and it only may show a certain portion on their mobile device. Okay. So that's the SAFER website. The SAFER website is the FMCSA's website, where you can do what's called a company snapshot, and you look up information about carriers, brokers, shippers, things like that. Okay. And then word of mouth text scripts. I put some information about text scripts. Like here's our text script, an example of it, that you can take the content and change it to your company. Okay. And I'm gonna enlarge that text script. And then if you want to use a third-party software, if you click the image, Text Magic or Text Line, if you click the image, it goes to that specific website. You can do a free trial. You can look up the features of that particular third-party software if you want to use that, or Text Line. So as I went through the website, I wanted to say, I imagined myself as a user and say, well, what would I want in a certain area? How would I want to navigate this in order for it to be convenient for me? Right. So I put myself in the position of a user on the site to make it better user friendly for you guys. So I apologize. It took me too long to figure that out, but I figured it out. Right. So next is email campaigns. OK. So you got text campaigns and scripts, email scripts. We got an example. Two of the popular email scripts or campaigns is MailChimp and Constant Contact. And the same thing, our email campaign that we use, or an example of one that you guys can use for your business, is this. You can take the you don't have to do it verbatim. You can take some stuff out, but you can use the script if you're going to send out mass email blasts to potential carriers when you're trying to go for carriers. So that's the email campaign. That's our PDF. But the third-party software, MailChimp, that's an example of one popular one, okay? And Constant Contact. Constant Contact is more on the corporate business side. MailChimp is more on the personal user side, right? But you can check out the features of either one if you decide to go that route with a third-party email blast, okay? And then next we get into the dispatcher agreement and profile, which are the documents. So the new term I want to use as it relates to dispatching companies is maybe dispatcher packet. When you send the carrier a dispatcher packet, the packet contains the dispatcher agreement, the profile, the carrier profile, and the limited power of attorney. I added this in this section, as well as the forms and documents. So the dispatcher agreement, I got it in the Word and PDF version, because the Word version is what you're going to be using to create yours from ours. From our template, you're going to create your own style of dispatcher agreement. And then in the Word document, you're going to save it as your own Word document. And then you're going to resave it, changing the file type to a PDF, because it's the PDF that you're sending to the carrier, not the Word version, because obviously the Word version can be edited, right? They can change information. That's the dispatcher agreement. The limited power of attorney. What is the limited power of attorney? This is where the carrier, the truck driver, the owner operator, the person you're going to be dispatching for is giving you permission to represent them when you are doing onboarding paperwork with the brokers, getting them set up, and when you're booking freight and booking loads for them with the rate confirmations. When you're signing those documents, you are signing them as the carrier themselves, and they have to get a limited power of attorney to give you authorization to do that, okay, permission, if you will, and it has to be notarized, okay, by a notary, right? So we have the dispatcher agreement, the limited power of attorney, and the carrier profile in PDF and Word format. Here's an example of the carrier profile. The purpose of the carrier profile is for the carrier to list and give you information of what specifically and how specifically they want you, the dispatcher, to find their loads for them, right? They'll tell you they only want to haul so much weight. They want so many cents per mile. They only want to go to certain sections or certain zones in the country, certain weight limit. They don't want to touch the freight, only certain number of pickups, certain number of deliveries. They don't want to go in the mountains. They don't want to deal with tolls. So whatever the dispatch specifications they put on the profile, you would take that data and cater that when you were doing your load search on the load boards, when you were searching for freight for them to move, to haul, to transport, okay? Now, when you create a dispatcher agreement or a dispatcher packet, which contains the agreement, the profile, and the limited power of attorney, you are sending that, and those are the only documents that you are creating, you are editing and changing. Everything else you're going to receive from someone else. Like, for example, when you send out your created documents, your dispatch packet, dispatcher agreement, carrier profile, and limited power of attorney, you're sending that out, the carrier is filling it out and returning it to you. When they do that, you also want to get a copy of their copies of their onboarding documents, because you're going to need this as a dispatcher when you are booking loads for them, when you are setting up loads for them with the brokers. What are the carrier's onboarding documents? Well, it's a copy of their operating authority, which is called the MC authority. Okay, and this is kind of blurry. I need to put a clearer one in here. It says a certificate, all right? A copy of their MC authority, a copy of their certificate of insurance. Okay, this is a copy of this is an example of what a certificate of insurance looks like. This one is blank because it's just a copy of it or a template, but it will, when a carrier sends you theirs, obviously it will be filled out with their information, their insurance company, their agent's information, the type of policy they have, the policy number, when it's effective, when it expires, things of that nature, okay? So that's a certificate of insurance. A copy of their W-9 showing that they have a business in place and an EIN number attached to that business, identifying that business as being a relevant tax-paying business, okay? And then if they have a factoring company, a credit application, and I'm gonna put a new one here because this one is kind of blurry. So I'm glad I'm going through this thoroughly. It gives me a chance to assess different things. So a notice of assignment is actually sent from the factoring company to the brokers. What the carrier sends to the dispatcher is called a credit application, which the carrier will send to the broker to fill out, because this is what the factoring company wants to see if the broker is creditworthy and factorable in order to work with them. And if they are, and they return that credit application and it's good, they are factorable, then the notice of assignment will come follow that. And then the factoring company will tell the broker, hey, we want to assign payment from you to the carrier to you, Mr. Broker, to us, the factoring company, because we're stepping in as a third-party representative financially of the carrier, and we're going to factor that load. Okay, so that's what the whole factoring concept comes in at. Okay, and then next I added something here. So this is a slideshow. It's a slideshow, and it's I have a video in this area too. So people ask me about finding new carriers in the FMCSA register through the SAFER website. Okay, so I created a slideshow. This is slide number 6. Let's start over. So if you see these little arrows over here, so slide number 1 is the actual SAFER website, and it has arrows pointing what you would put in. Slide 2 takes you to the next area, licensing and insurance. And I'm going to show you that. Matter of fact, let me show you that as I show you the actual slide. Okay. So the SAFER website is where we go to look for new carriers, not necessarily new carriers, new individuals who filed to have an active motor carrier authority. So they haven't been granted it yet, but they have applied for what's called an operating authority. So these are good people to target and ask them, once they get their authority, are they going to be interested in a dispatcher, okay? So this is the Safer website. So I got it on the screen. I put a link for you guys. And here's the same thing in the slideshow, slide number 1, okay? So you would enter, like here, start here by entering a value for DOT, MC, or name of a company, and then click search. Okay, so let's do that. Let's enter an MC number and hit search. So now you come to this screen here. So let's go back and hit slide number 2. Slide number 2. Next, click on the licensing and insurance link. Okay, so let's go back to the actual Safer website. Licensing and insurance is up here where it says other information for this carrier. Licensing and insurance, click that link, okay? So now, let's go back. We're on slide number 3, okay? So right here it says, up in the choose menu option, right here on the screen where it says choose menu option, we're going to select FMCSA register and hit go. So that's what we do on slide number 3. So I'm going through slide by slide and the actual site to show you, right? Now, that's slide number 3. We hit go, we selected it. So now we go to slide number 4, which takes us to this report listing, this 2-week incremental report. Okay, so the FMCSA prints out a report in the transportation industry of changes that affect brokers, shippers, carriers, right? Whether they change their name, whether they transferred, whether they had their authority revoked, whether they had the authority reinstated, whether they applied for a new authority. Any changes that's related to anyone who has an MCDOT is reflected in a PDF report by the FMCSA and is put in what's called the register, okay? So next, on the screen, we select one of the reports. I'm gonna select the oldest one, not the current one. So I'm gonna select the oldest one. I'm gonna click that link and go to this screen here, okay? So now back to the slide, number 4, right? So we did that, clicked it, and now we're on number 5. We're in this slide here because we wanna scroll down to the fitness section of this PDF file, right? So you scroll, instead of me scrolling all the way down, I'm just gonna double click in the page number 1 and enter an advanced page that may take me to that area a little bit quicker. That's a little quicker way to do it. So we're in the MC area, and let me scroll back up and see the header of this particular section to see if it's fitness or non-fitness, okay? So the word fitness applies to the acronym SAFER, S-A-F-E-R, Safety and Fitness Electronic Records. It has to do with safety, compliance, things of that nature. So this is the non-fitness section. I'll say right now, we do not need to, the type of, I'll say it like this, the type of carriers we're looking for does not fall under the non-fitness category. They fall under the fitness category. So if you are a dispatcher who is looking for new carriers or carriers who have applied for their authority but haven't received it yet, active, and you're doing it through the FMCSA register through this technique, you look in the category that is fitness and non-fitness. So fitness came first, okay? So we'll scroll down to the non-fitness came first, and then we'll scroll down to the fitness section, which shouldn't be right here, okay? Why do we select fitness over non-fitness? Because the category of the carriers we're looking for falls in the fitness category. What are the category of carriers that we're looking for as independent freight dispatchers? We are looking for interstate as opposed to intrastate. The difference between those two, I want to make sure when I say terms, I define them as well. Intrastate means a carrier, a truck driver, and owner operator can only haul freight within their state limits, right? Within the state boundaries, like Texas. If you have an intrastate type of authority, then you can only haul freight within that state. If you have an interstate, I-N-T-E-R, you can cross state lines and do over the road. So we're looking for interstate common carriers. Remember, there are 4 types of operating authorities for the carriers, 2 types for brokers. The 2 types for the brokers are broker of property and broker of household goods. The 4 types of carrier operating authorities are common, contract, passenger, and household goods. The ones that you want to focus on are the common carriers of property, except household goods. I hope you guys can see me highlighting that. So the common carriers, common and contract in this case, but you want to focus on common. The common carriers of household good of property except household goods fall in the fitness category in the FMCSA register. You guys follow that? Okay. The reason why we select the fitness category when we are looking in the register is because the type of carriers that we want to go after to dispatch for fall in that category. They are the common carriers of property except household goods, and they are interstate, okay? So if you're using this technique to find carriers, this is the way to do it, all right? Now let's read the very beginning header. When you look in this register, this is how you read it when you look at the register. You read it by saying, okay, their number, their FF or MC number, this is in alphabetical order. So F comes before MC. So the FF, you're not focusing on FF. Those are freight forwarders, okay? So, but this is how you read it. The number, the date that they filed, not the date that the authority became active. That is important because most people get that confused. They think that when they see the date, this is the date that they became active. No, it is the date that they filed to have an authority. In other words, when they filled out the OP1 form and they went on the FMCSA register, FMCSA website and read the registration page and filled out the OP1 form, which is the application for an operating authority as a motor carrier, whatever date that was that they paid that $300, that is the date that's entered right here and entered into the register saying, hey, we have a new entrant. They filed on this date. They filed to be in this case, an FF, but an MC person, common carrier, right? So the applicant and the representative of the applicant, okay? So the applicant is the company and the representative can be either the company or a person like an owner or a manager of the company. So you get the number, the date they filed, the applicant and the representative, and then under that is the type of operating authority that they filed for. In this case is a freight forwarder, right? So now you knowing the orientation of how to read it, the number, the date, the applicant, representative, and then the type under it, you can simply scroll down to the M section because now we're in the F section. We can scroll down to the M section, remembering the type of carriers that we're targeting. Remember, common carriers of property except household goods who are interstate, right? So right here, let's get to this first one. Here's the first MC. The number, the date, the applicant and the representative, and under it, the type. Interstate common carrier except household goods. So this company, Imperial Auto Haulers, filed the application, completed the application, paid the $300 to FMCSA, and FMCSA put that in the register on the 30th of December last year, 2021. They filed the OP1 form as an interstate common carrier except household goods. We don't know when they're going to get their authority active. We could do a search for their company and see. So let's do that. Let's do a search for the company. I'm not going to look up the MC. I'm going to do a search by the name. Because on the SAFER website, you can search, remember, you can search by DOT, by MC, or by the name. I put the name here and right there, Rockville, Maryland. Let's go back and make sure that that's that, Rockville, Maryland. Okay, right there, Rockville, Maryland. So let's go back to SAFER and open it up and see they're not authorized yet, but we can also see why they're not authorized. We can go through SAFER and see why a company is not authorized. So all you have to do there, well, first let's look at some stuff here. They are for hire, which is common when you file for a regular owner operator. They are interstate. They file general freight and they haul motor. So they are auto hauling company, motor vehicles, okay? So under licensing and insurance, if you, let's see, traffic lights, let's go through here. And then you get to this screen here for that company, Imperial Auto Haulers. You look at the HTML, under view details, I always look at the HTML version of the report, of the details. And then I go here. So the reason why they are not authorized, it's a dead giveaway. So you have columns here. You have the authority type, common, contract, or broker. You have the authority status. There are none right now. You have the application. So the reason why they're not authorized yet is because their application is still pending. So there's something in their common carrier, interstate of property except household goods application that they still have to do, right? They have their insurance on, they have it required $1 million, they have it on file. So there's something else that they have to do. Maybe a UCR, they already have a BOC3, their blanket of coverage, yes, they have a BOC3. So there's something else that they have to do to complete this application process. So just because it says not authorized doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. FMCSA may be waiting on something for them to do, and they have a certain period of time. So right here, if you look at authority history to see what's going on, the authority history link, only thing they have on file is that it was dismissed 2 years ago. So they refiled on the, what was it, the 30th of 2021. It was dismissed 2 years prior to that. So they're refiling again. So that's the only thing that we have on file for them. So their application is pending, and they would know. So that's how you would navigate through the SAFER to get more details about a specific company if you wanted to look them up. But in the registry, that's how you would read it. Their MC number. Let's look at another one real quick. Their MC number, the date that they filed, the 30th of December, 2021, the name of the company, and the representative. So the company's name and applicant and the representative are the same in that case. So I'm gonna copy that and see the same thing, because, and make sure the name is selected, because I copied the name, not the MC number. And it shows Indian Land, South Carolina. So let's go back and make sure that's the right one. Indian Land, South Carolina, right? So that's that, okay? So let's click that and select that link. They're not authorized. So let's see why, okay? And it could be an application still pending or whatever the reason, right? So tractors, it's the same process. Under view details, you would select HTML. And the same thing, their application is still pending for whatever reason. It could be, again, it could be UCR. They have insurance on file, $750,000, so it's not insurance. They have a BOC3. It could be their UCR. It could be other things, okay? So that's that. I don't want to stay on that too long. I just wanted to show you guys how to read that. And then back to the slideshow, showing that as a slideshow, right? How to get through that, right? Also, as a bonus, not only did I put it as a slideshow, but there is a video. Everything that I just went over, there's a video version of that. If you don't want to go through the slideshow, click here to watch the FMCSA register video on both sides of the screen. So if you click that link, it'll take you to the YouTube video about the FMCSA register new carriers, finding new carrier series. Okay, so kind of a double bonus there. You have a slideshow if you don't want to watch the video, and you have a video of that. Okay. And if you hit that, so now that's under module 1, finding carriers, all the information and all the things that you need. Remember, as the onboarding documents that you need to get copies of from your carrier to return to you, along with that completed dispatcher agreement or that dispatcher packet, which contains the agreement, the profile, and the limited power of attorney, they need to send you copies of their credentials. Because remember, as you need that as a dispatching company ahead of time, because when you're booking loads with brokers, they always ask, and your carrier is not set up with that broker, it would be good for you to have copies of these onboarding documents, the MC, the certificate of insurance, the W-9, things like that. So when the broker asks for that to onboard it, you don't have to chase your carrier down. You have copies of it in your company, in your back office. So it makes your workflow a little more streamlined for your company. So it makes sense to get copies of those documents ahead of time, okay? So that's module 1, okay? You go through this at your pace. learn, understand the concepts, learn the, okay, and then, so now if you back out of that, you're back to the regular members portal, module 2, okay? Load boards, module 2 is where the load boards are located, okay? For you members who are accessing the load boards, our logins to the load boards are on either side of the screen. They contain, if you notice, these images and links are numbered. Number 1, Trucking Planet 2, 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. So if you click the PDF, I'm not going to do that right now. You click the PDF, the usernames and passwords are listed in the same numerical order representing the load board. So number 1, Trucking Planet's username and password is number 1. 1, 2, 3 load boards, username and password is number 2. So if you click a load board and you click sign in, you reference the PDF for the username and password for the load board that you're trying to log into. In this case, number 2. So it would be number 2 on the PDF, okay? So I had a person who was saying, I can't log into the load board. I click sign in, I don't know what. Well, you got to reference the PDF for the username and password to log into that load board, okay? And then the same concept with module 1, we have content about the module, load boards and everything, how to navigate load boards. We have the content, we have the quiz, and now we have the answers to the quiz. So you can go over the information. We have video in there, okay? And I could probably update that, that won't be a problem. But we have what is a load board, now how to navigate the load boards, the search features, right? Very, very brief information there, okay? But these are the load boards. The only caveat that I don't like, the only reason why I am keeping so far that Trucker's Edge, I know it's a pain in the backside because it's only a 1 user license, which means only 1 person can be logged in at a time. It kicks people out. But I always tell people, I say, look, load boards number 2 and 4 works as just as fine, if not better than Trucker's Edge when finding loads also. And there is no issue about kicking people out in that one, okay? Is this on the website? Yes, we are on the website navigating this. Everything that you're seeing me navigate is this is in our members portal. We are in module 2 of our members portal. And if you are an enrolled student, you have access to this, okay? So that Trucker's Edge, the load board portion is a fine portion, but it kicks people out because it's a 1 user license. The only reason why I'm keeping it here is because, and let me log into it to show you why I'm keeping it, because there is a feature called the DAT directory that we use to search for trucks. So right here under tools, you click the drop down menu and you select that directory. Once I click that, I go back to the previous tab and I sign out because I'm not using the load board feature of DAT. I'm using the DAT directory. So under the DAT directory, there are 4 tabs. The tab that we need to use is already selected by default. It says search directory, okay? Under that search directory, you hit research new business partners. And then let me enlarge this a little bit. I think it's small enough. So company name, when you're searching for carriers, company name, I leave blank. Company type, we're searching for carrier, right? You can select broker, carrier, shipper. I'm gonna select carrier. So if I'm a dispatching company, I'm looking for truck drivers, so carrier. I'm gonna put my city, I'm gonna put a city, Norfolk, Virginia, okay? Just as an example, okay? And then I'm gonna put a radius or a deadhead of 100 miles. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that I'm trying to find carriers that's located within the Norfolk and 100-mile radius of Norfolk, okay? And I'm gonna sort the answers or the results set by the name of the company. And I'm gonna hit search, okay? And then it said your search resulted in more than 500 matches, okay? So now these are the results, all of these, okay? And this white space won't populate with data until you select one of the companies. So I'm gonna click the first one, 2L Transport Logistics, okay? And now it populates with their data. You guys see what I did? If I select another one, it puts their data in there in the white space, okay? I'm gonna go back to the first one. So this is how you search for carriers in that directory. You could do the exact same thing in 123 load board. Under the left column, you do search directory or research directory, and you do the same thing. So now you're looking at a lot of information about this, okay? Read through it. Their commodities, this company hauls general freight, just basic general stuff, okay? And then they're in this DAT directory, sometimes it shows the equipment types that they have. Sometimes it does not. But if they haul general freight and you see what types of services they do, LTL, expedited ground parcels, UPS, they could be an expedite company, right? So you want to go, let's just select another one here and look at their commodities. They're authorized for property. They are interstate. They have an MC and DOT number. They're authorized for property, which means they have an active authority. They haul general freight. Let's go down to the equipment section if there is one. And right here, over here, they have one 48-foot flatbed. They have a step deck, and a stretch trailer. So they're in the flatbed family, okay? So you kind of get an idea of their equipment types. And from here, you can decide whether you want to deal with that, if that's one of the equipment types that you deal with. So that's how we use the DAT directory, okay? And that's the load board area in the members portal under module 2, load boards, okay? Module 3, booking the load. When you actually get a carrier under a dispatcher agreement, you get a profile, you get all the paperwork back that you need. Now you want to understand how to book the load, right? We have a video, the steps to the process. We have the content, which is under here. We have the quiz, and we have the answers to that, okay? How to book the load. We have a 2-hour video. Good morning, everybody. 2-hour and 1-minute video on booking a load, the overview of module 3, okay? So it's specifically in the location of the module. In addition to us going over this over and over again in our trainings, you have a specific video in that section. And I may even update this to make it more current, because this is an old video. This is from 2 years ago. So I can make it current, more up to date, which is probably what I'll do. And I'll probably use like 123 load board, or a load board that we're using as an example, because I want to make your user experience as current and good as possible, okay? So under booking the load, we talk, and we have a dialogue between the broker, with brokers or shippers. I created one with screenshots showing you the conversation between ABC Trucking, which is me, and a broker or shipper. What brokers actually say to you. What's your MC? You give them the MC, they'll go through the process. We go through this all the time in the training, showing you specifically what brokers say, how to negotiate, things like that. But I put it in a module so that you can kind of read through and get an idea, so you can kind of formulate how it's done, right? The carrier packets, broker carrier agreement, the rate confirmation. Those are the 2 documents, the onboarding documents that brokers send to you, the dispatcher representing your carrier. The broker carrier agreement to get you set up with that brokerage, and the rate confirmation to officially book a specific load that you're trying to book for that carrier, okay? And this is just an example of what a load or a rate agreement looks like, okay? And this is all under the module 3, okay? Module 4, I'm going to update a little bit more. All that does is talks about invoicing. I'm going to put more specific information about invoicing, different invoice types, like PayPal, Square. How do you as a dispatcher invoice your carrier after they do a job that you did for them, after they deliver a load that you've booked for them with the broker and have all their paperwork completed, their BOL, their POD, right, like it says right here. What do you do? How do you do it? So, okay. So now I spoke a little bit longer than anticipated, but I'll stop here for, well, no, I won't. Let me do a few more things. I forgot to navigate a little bit more. After the modules, okay, finishing in the main area of the members portal, right? After the 4 modules, you have more important information below. Okay, I almost forgot about this. I apologize. The first one is the location of all the forms and documents that you guys would need. In addition to being inside of the modules, they're in a specific location, like forms and documents. So in addition to being in module 1, this forms and documents area under the more important information, remember, dispatch agreement, profile, and limited power of attorney in PDF and Word format. The same way it was in module 1, it is in the forms and documents area. So you will know you have 2 locations to find the dispatch agreement, the profile, and the limited power of attorney. Just like also in module 1, the carrier's onboarding documents for viewing purposes only is in, just like it was in module 1, it is in our forms and documents. So you know what they look like. So you're able to identify what a MC letter looks like for a carrier when they send it to you. So you'll know, okay, this is the MC letter. Okay, I got that, check, right? You're going through a checklist, right? And you look at the next document that the carrier sends you that you asked for, certificate of insurance. Okay, check. You'll know what that document is. Then you'll look at the next document, right? The W-9, check. So you have a checklist of what you expect the carrier to send you when they're returning the document, so you can dispatch for them efficiently and effectively, right? So that's the carrier's documents. Then we got the broker's onboarding documents. This is under module 3. Remember booking a load? The broker's going to send you a broker carrier agreement to get your carrier onboarded or set up with that brokerage if they are not. Because when you call a broker to book a load for your carrier, the broker's going to ask you for the MC number or the motor carrier number of that carrier to look in their system to see if that carrier is already approved with their brokerage. Okay. Yes, you can download, if you are a member, you can download the documents from the website. Yes, these are PDFs. You can download the websites. Download the PDFs. Yes, you have access. Rate confirmation. That's the second type of onboarding documents that you're going to deal with the brokers with. So the broker carrier agreements gets you set up, get your carrier set up and approved with that brokerage. The rate confirmation officially books that specific load that you're looking for them when you are booking that load, when you're calling that broker, okay? So, and then we got miscellaneous documents. So the purpose of these miscellaneous documents in the forms and documents area is to provide extra incentive and extra assistance to you. Like for example, the load details cheat sheet. This is used sometimes on load boards. Brokers don't put all the details of their load. So we created cheat sheets to ask specific questions that you may feel that your carrier may need to know before they decide whether or not they can take that load and move that load. And we grouped it by the 3 major equipment types: reefers, dry beds, and flatbeds. And some of the questions are common, okay? So, all right. And other documents in the miscellaneous documents area, accessorial policies, that deals with like lumpers and detention. We have certain policies. You'll get into that later on. It's just there for your convenience, okay? Role of a dispatcher workflow, the outline of dispatching, NOA, screenshot. I'm going to update the list of brokers who work with new authority carriers. So if you have a carrier who just got their authority active, just got their MC approved by the FMCSA, let's say 90 days, 6 months, a year or less, we have a list, and we're updating this list of brokers who still work with those new active authority carriers. Right here's a screenshot and then a PDF in the Word document, okay? So this is all under the forms and documents area of the portal, okay? Forms and documents. Next are tools and resources materials. So in addition to the forms and documents and the templates and stuff for you, we have tools and resources that you can use for your dispatching company. different tool, PDF tools, okay? Hours of compliance, car carrier script, days to pay, trailer interchange, total costs and expenses, dispatcher questions. And then in addition to that, we have resources that you can use. Like the DAT trend lines is a tool, the Safer website is a tool. And right here, we go back to that Safer navigation video and that Safer register video. So it's in this location too. So if you click this Safer navigation, if you still want to know how to navigate the Safer website, there you go. You click that. If you still want to understand how to go to the register to look for new applicants who filed for their operating authority, there you go. There's the video. Okay, so it's a quick way to get to that location as opposed to trying to figure out where it's located. Click the link, boom, it's there. Try to make it as convenient as possible, okay? The DAT trend line shows analytics of certain lanes, of certain equipment types. National Truck and Trailer Service. This could be a good resource that you can leverage as a dispatching service company for your carriers. Let's say you have a carrier that's down that has a flat tire. You click the National Truck and Trailer Service, NTTS, and I'm in Virginia. So I'm going to click V for Virginia. And I'm going to click the city of Norfolk, okay? And my guy has a flat tire. So I'll click tire sales and repair. He says, man, I just caught a flat tire, man. I don't know any tire. I'm from Texas. I don't know any tire people around this area. Do you know anybody? Yeah, let me check 1 second. You reference your resource, your tool and resource, and you go in here. And after you check the box that you're not a robot, okay, now it comes up with a list of tons of commercial tire repair, right? And within a certain number of miles from his location, from Norfolk. This one is the closest, 4.05 miles from Norfolk. It's in Portsmouth, American Trucking Repair. Get him a call, reach him out, hey, I got a truck that's down over here in Norfolk. You guys got 24-hour road service. So, you know, you can, or whatever the situation is, right? So you can do a new search. I'll select my same state, Virginia, and I'll select Norfolk for the city. And you I can enter anybody's city and state. And you could choose anything: truck repair, towing and recovery, tires and sales, transport, refrigeration, trailer repair, truck stops with repair, rentals, truck wash, glass repair. You may have a piece of stone hit your windshield and shattered it for your carrier. Locksmiths, he may have got locked out of the truck. Fuel stops, motels, scales, weigh station, rest areas, pallets. I mean, this is a good resource that you as a dispatching company can leverage for your carrier, you know, and this could be like in your back pocket in cases of emergency. You may not never need to use it, but it's there if you do, okay? Then we got things like truck miles, fuel surcharges. We'll figure it out as we go. Truck router, and I got the login for truck router here. Truck routers are also a good resource to use, okay? Where you can route your guy, log into there, and now you can route, you know, multiple stops and things like that. So you can do the truck type. Truck router is a good resource. Someone said, have you ever had to use it? I've used the National Truck and Trailer Service because a guy of mine wanted to know where to find a rest stop. The truck router is another resource. You put in your details of your truck. The routing preferences. Do you want to avoid tolls? Do you want to avoid ferries, avoid tunnels, avoid dirt roads? So you can route your carriers in certain directions. Reorder stops, consider traffic conditions, avoid sharp turns to make your driver's transport a little easier. So I don't want to say what invoicing, Michael, is the best. You can use PayPal, you can use Square, you can use QuickBooks. As long as your invoicing software is attached to your business account, if it works, then that's sufficient. Whatever features you're using or whatever requirements of your invoicing software that you have for your dispatching company, you find the software that best meets the requirements, okay? So as far as the invoicing. So right now I wanna open it up. Let me do one more thing before I do Q&A. I was in the resources. So now someone asked about the videos? Where can we go watch the recordings of the videos? Well, we have it right here. In our members portal, we have a training videos library. Okay, let me log out of Truck Router. And we have a training video library. Okay, so all the live videos we do on Zoom right here, like this one is being recorded, we store them in the training videos library in months, and grouping in months, okay, November. And I'll tell you why November started first, because 2-3 years ago, when I first started the online portal, it was in the month of November, okay? That's why November is starting first. So now when you go to the months, right, you should see little white, it's very vague. You should see little white arrows, like in the, remember the slideshow, the left and right arrows on the slideshow screen, it's the same thing right here. So in that particular month, the most recent date video is first. So for example, this one, and we just left November last year. So the last video that I did in dispatching in the month of November was November 21st. So if you click the arrow, then the second most recent one, November 20th, and then the third, so on and so forth. So when you scroll to a particular month, like for example, December, when you scroll to a particular month, the most recent date in that month will be the first video, like this one, December 18th, because after December 18th, we took a 2-week break for the Christmas holiday and New Year. So there was no other videos. So if you go backwards, it's the 15th and then the 12th, and then whatever, right? So now we are in January right now, right? So this video will be the most recent one after tonight, okay? The last recent videos, the last one was Sunday, I think it was the 16th, right? Which is in here, right here. So when you go back to this after tonight or tomorrow morning, it's gonna be the 19th, and whatever we call the name of this video will be here. And if you click the arrows, you will go backwards in most recent to the oldest video. So that's how you go in the members portal to the training videos library, and then you scroll to the particular month that you want to look for videos in, and then you will see the most recent date in that particular month. So all the months are represented. Okay, so that's how you do that. All right. So I went a little over. So Q&A, please. We can do Q&A. I can open it up now for some Q&A. So if you don't know, I would, LaDonna probably would moderate and Trevay, I believe, will moderate the comments in the chat, but I'll look for the hands raised in the, okay, there we go. I'll look at the hands raised, and then you guys look at the ones in the chat.
Joe's looking so that she ready.
Okay, yeah, Soledad. I saw Soledad. I saw Soledad. Soledad was in the Soledad was in the box truck thing, yeah.
Can you drop your number for me? Because I want to talk to you about that night, in reference to that night. And then I have a question. So I've been doing the text blast to try to get carriers. I've been doing that, and simultaneously been trying to start relationships with brokers, like on Facebook. And it's like both have been working out pretty well. I've been getting emails. Some brokers have actually been sending me their load list, like daily load list. And so I'm like, okay, if I have their daily load list, I could use that as bait to try to get, the driver. But what I've been coming into, like the script that I have, it's good because I do get the response, but most of the time people are looking for dedicated routes. So I wanted to ask you, when I get that, when they'll tell me, yes, they're interested, or do I have dedicated routes? How would you word it to flip it so that I can tell them about, no, I don't, if I, not to say lie, but I'd be like, oh, well, that load was taken already. But how can you convert them into just being dispatched to do individual load finding?
Well, you can tell them, so if they're looking for dedicated routes, you can let them know, look, dedicated routes are not going to be, we don't have any dedicated routes available, but you can earn dedicated routes by moving consistent freight for particular brokers consistently over time, that same broker, and then that broker will come to you and say, hey, you've proven yourself by delivering these loads on time consistently. There's no damaged freight. There's no claims filed against you. Now we have this lane that just opened up. We got this new contract and it is dedicated. Since you've proven yourself, Mr. Carrier, we want to offer this to you.
Okay.
But dedicated routes are earned as your carrier consistently does what the carrier is supposed to do, right? Deliver the load, picks it up on time, deliver it on time, no damaged freight, no claims, things of that nature. That's how dedicated routes are gathered. Now, it's rare that you just stumble into a dedicated lane, but they do happen. I want to be clear, they do happen, but it's rare that you stumble into them. Okay. Especially if you are a new carrier. No broker is going to give a new carrier a dedicated run.
Yeah.
Right. So they have to be an experienced person. I would say a fair number will be 3 years or better. Okay. So.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
All right. And hopefully that's not a bad thing about the box truck thing you want to talk to me about.
No, it's a very good thing. I just wanted to tell you in private instead.
Okay. K Isaiah. That's the next hand I see in the list. And remember, guys, I want to apologize early. I am cutting this short at exactly 8 o'clock. So if you have a question, if I missed you, you can either email me tonight or tomorrow, or you can save it for Saturday. Okay. K Isaiah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how are you guys doing? I was looking at the snapshot, the Safer Snapshot website, and I was looking up some MC numbers from the example that you had given, I think just the other day.
Okay, so do you have one of those MC numbers now?
I do. Let me run in here really quick.
Or the name of the company. So while I'm answering a question, I can, because maybe other people can benefit from this as well.
Okay, hold on. I think it's
okay
in this room. It's just that when I looked up one of the companies, I looked it up, the MC number was not found or whatever it says, like the MC is not approved yet. No, it says not found. And
not authorized.
Well, it didn't pull up anything at all. Like usually, like I've seen some of your examples where it has like the name of the company and a lot of other information, and it'll say not authorized. This one didn't say that at all. It said that it wasn't found or something like that. But then I just happened to go back to the same screen. I hit DOT and a different company. Some of them were the same companies, but they were only registered under DOTs, and some of them were completely different companies altogether.
Yeah, so that when that happens, move on to the next.
Okay.
That's a red flag.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll save you a ton of time and headache right now.
Okay.
Move on to the next. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. LaDonna. Kalisa Johnson, it looked like they lowered their hand. So Chriselle Applewhite.
Yes,
okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, Chriselle.
Hi. So I have a question. I have my brokers. I have a broker authority, but
you in the wrong class.
No, so my question is, I decided to go into dispatching. Me and a friend of mine, we're gonna partner up and do dispatching first. I'm gonna do that first, and then once I do that, I'm gonna move into my brokering. But do you offer like 101 training? I think I just need probably like an hour for the brokering side to kind of, like I said, I have everything together with the brokering. The only thing I don't have is like the paperwork all together. So do you offer any type of 101 like hour?
I offer a full, like I offer dispatch training, I offer a full broker course. And then I do consultations for a broker and dispatcher. I do 30-minute and 60-minute phone and 30 and 60-minute Zoom consultations on dispatcher and freight broker. So if you select ELLC services and you select consultations on the website, you will be able to, matter of fact, I'll just put the link in the chat for the consultations. And if you agree to the price points, you can set up a consultation, either a phone or a Zoom 30 or 60-minute consultation to get me one-on-one. Otherwise, it's through, you would have to consider one of the options under the freight broker curriculum.
Okay. I was looking at that, probably like the material only section or the material only course.
Right,
but I
it
think
sounds like you just need your broker shipper packet materials and your broker carrier packet materials.
Right. That's it.
Right. Okay. So yeah. So look at the consultations and then look at the option of the materials, and then you know, I'll let you decide which way you want to go with that.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So next is Mike Moore. He said he can't raise his hand. Mike Moore, can you unmute yourself?
Can you hear me?
Oh, this is the chef. The chef, what's up?
Yeah.
What's going on?
What's going on, sir?
First of all, man, I appreciate you for taking my call earlier this week.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Man, my phone, I take so many calls. I don't forget people. So that's another thing too. Let me mention that while I got a lot of, if you guys are going to text me like any questions, like a quick 5-10 minute question, please identify who you are, because every time someone texts me, I don't know who they are. I always say, well, who is this, please? How can we help you? I don't know who you are. So if you identify yourself, I'll know you are one of the students, and I'll say, okay, now I know how to carry it. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. So like I told you earlier, I just got my first carrier and everything, and he just took his first load. That load that he took, one of the loads that he took, what do you call it? The broker wasn't set up with his factoring company. So I sent him the invoice, and I was like, I reminded him like, yo, I sent you the invoice. Did you get it? He's like, yeah, I got it. But the broker, when I went to search for their name with OTR, he said they weren't in there. So he said I had to do the credit app and all of that. So I'm wondering, like, if they're not approved, like say they're a new brokering company or something, if they're not approved, how would he go about getting paid? Basically, would it be the same process as if he didn't have a factoring company?
That is correct. So if your carrier has a factoring company and the factoring company does a credit check on the broker and they decide that they're not credit worthy or factorable, then they won't factor the load. So the carrier won't have a choice but to go with the payment options of the broker, whatever they offer, whether it's quick pay, whether it's ACH wire transfer or a paper check. So that would be his option. If his factoring company is not going to factor that load, he has no choice but to go with the payment options of what the brokers are offering.
Okay, so he would send the bill of lading back to the broker.
Right, he has to, yeah, if it's not factorable, he's gonna send that signed, that complete BOL, bill of lading. So a bill of lading, guys, is a BOL. Carriers pick up BOLs when they pick up loads to deliver from the shippers. And then when they deliver it to the receivers, it gets signed by both the shipper and the receiver. And once it gets signed by both the shipper and the receiver, it turns into a POD, a proof of delivery. So now they would have to send that to now the broker, since their factory company decided that the broker is not factorable, they're not credit worthy. So yeah, okay.
Okay.
All right. Donna, can you repost that list? I'm trying to see who's next. Is it Trevay? Oh no, Michael. The other Michael is next, right?
Yes, the other Michael Agbari, I want to say.
Yeah, Michael Agbari. Mike.
Yes, Mr. Charles. Thank you very much. I lowered my hands. Yes. So,
you lowered your hand. Okay, so you don't have a question.
Well,
That's right.
Kalisa did make it back. Kalisa Johnson did raise that hand back up. So.
Okay, so is it Kalisa Johnson next now?
Yes.
Okay, so can you unmute yourself, Ms. Johnson?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I had a question about the FMCA. Do we go to the FMCA website first to get the MC and then enter it into the safer box to pull up?
So you're saying after you get a carrier to dispatch for, Or you're saying when you're going to look for carriers, so what are you asking as far as the FMCSA?
Okay, where do we get the MC number, or do we put the DOT number to put in order to pull up the page?
Oh, the SAFER. Oh, yeah. So you can just to get to that point, to start looking for carriers, you can just put because they're random, you can just put a random MC number in there just to get to the SAFER website, so that you can start to navigate through there to get to the register section in order to find new carriers. I'm going to put an example of a random MC number in the chat, so you can use to just, because they're a matter of public record, so it's not a big deal.
Oh, right.
It's not like you're using their MC to start another trucking company, right? You just using it to enter there to go to another location. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. That was
okay. Michael, I'm making sure Michael didn't have a question. He just put his hand down, so I would think it would be Trevay.
Yeah, Trevay's next.
All right. Trevay.
Good evening. How are you, everyone? Quick question for you. Had a great conversation with someone today regarding the docs on the website. And one of the questions was regarding the revisions made. When you make revisions to the documents, do you put a revised date so that we know the last time it was updated? And if so, can you point that out?
Yeah, I normally do. In this case, I did not. So the next revision I will, but I didn't do it in this case. So I dropped the ball on this one. But you can say January, I made the revision. I just didn't put it on the doc this time.
Okay, no problem. I couldn't find it either when I was trying to show someone one of your documents. I just didn't know where it was, where you had it at. A suggestion, the way I do mine is when I revise the name of it, let's just say it's, I don't know, dispatch agreement, then I put the date in the file name. So is there a way, because when we open it, it has your file name. That's just a suggestion. That
so
may be helpful.
which document are you referring? Is it a Word document or the PDF?
Yeah, it would have been one of the Word documents, but it's not just one specific. It's just a general blanket suggestion, I guess. That would help us know when the last time was you made changes to it, because I print out everything that you do. So
that's a great suggestion and a great point. So going forward, any Word documents I will, and LaDonna, please put that in an email reminder to me, please. As far as revising going forward, I normally do it. I just dropped the ball this time. So, right. Thank you, Trevay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Can you hear me? I'm sorry, I'm going in and out. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay. Renisa, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
No, it's Renessa.
Renessa. Okay, I apologize.
I get it a lot. It's okay. So I am ready to go. I am ready to start basically putting together a code list. So I just wanted to kind of get a little bit of pointers of putting together a good code list, from getting everything from the SAFER website, which you just kind of went over that. But any recommendations of putting together a good code list to start from?
Yeah. So are you just going to going after carriers just by cold calling, or are you going to do other methods to target the carriers, like visiting truck stops, like doing social media, text blasts, email blasts?
I live in California, and I'm an Uber driver too. So I have a lot of truck stops and stuff around me. So a lot of word of mouth. I have flyers. I have social media. I'm a marketer, so I'm pretty familiar with all that stuff. But also I want to do cold calling.
Okay, so the cold calling resources we use is number one, the SAFER that we just went over, the SAFER website, the FMCSA, Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, FMCSA. For those who don't know what it stands, I just want to make sure I mention that, because I keep using acronyms and people are like, what is he talking about? So, so the FMCSA register shows those people who are new applicants to have an operating authority, not necessarily meaning that they have their authority. So that's a reference to code call. Another one is in our 123 load board, which I'll go to right now. I'll go to it through the navigating through the red portal. So let me go to the members portal. And where is the load boards, guys? Where are the load boards located?
Module 2.
Module 2. Pop quiz. All right. So module 2, I'm going to go to 123 load board because that's another reference to do code calls for the carriers. I'm going to log into the 123 load board, and over here on the left column where you see main, loads, my trucks, tools, services, under resources, okay, you should, something that says search directory, okay? Under search directory, you can search by, and let me enlarge this if I can. Let me click in here. Okay, you can search by carriers, brokers, or shippers, okay? So we can search by, since you are a dispatching company, we're searching by carriers. I'm gonna put a 100-mile radius or deadhead. I'm gonna leave company name blank because I wanna see all the companies. I don't wanna just search for one specific company. I wanna broaden my perspective, my search result. Right. I'm gonna search for carriers in, where are you located, Renessa?
Rialto, California.
Rialto, R-E-A-L-T-O?
Yes.
Okay.
No A, sorry.
R-E-L-T-O?
R-E-I.
Okay, R-E-I. R-E-I-L or R-E-I-T-O?
R-E-I-L-T-O.
Okay, Rialto, California, and I'll search for carriers. And you guys don't have any carriers out in Rialto, California? What's the closest
Ontario.
major?
Ontario.
Ontario. What's the closest major city? That was what I was going to answer. Ontario. Like, what in the world? Ain't no carriers in Ontario?
It's a pretty industrial area, so it'd be like Fontana and Ontario.
Right. So there we go. So now we got result sets of carriers in there. Okay. And you scroll down and it's like 5 pages and you see the names, their cities, their contact information, phone number, MC and DOT, right? So you can, now you can take that information, you can cross-reference it to other resources. You can do cold calls from here. So here's a list right here, and it's a 5-page list. And it looks about 20 or so on per page, right? This looks about 20, maybe more, maybe 30. Does that look like 30 or 20 on that page? What do you think?
Look about at least a good 30.
A good 30. So you got 5 pages at 30 a page, that's 150, right? Not all of them you're gonna be the type of carriers that you're looking for, but that's the purpose of the cold call, right?
Right.
So that's one reference in addition to the safer, right? Another reference through the load boards will be, let's see, let's log out of this one and let's go to another load board as a reference to specifically cold calls, because that's what you were talking about. So let's say, let's choose trucking planning, another load board. Let's log into that. And now we want to say carriers. Okay, we want to look at the carriers, and we got more specific types of carriers: dry van truckload carriers, flatbed or step truckload carriers, refrigerated truckload carriers. You even got hot shots and box trucks, hazmat, and then freight brokers, right? So let's say you wanted to target dry vans starting out. There's reefers coming out of California though. You got a lot of produce coming out of California, correct? So
yeah.
So you want to target refrigerated carriers, right? So then you put some information in there. Now, normally, I don't know what's going on with trucking plan. I need to call them because normally it would show the listing of those carriers in this area, in this section. So I need to make sure that that is working correctly. Let me look at refrigerated shippers. Okay, so now it's showing all the shippers. So this can be a glitch in the software. So let me investigate that one, because normally when you click that, it shows the actual carriers forms, right? So I will double check that and make sure that that works properly. Okay. But you got 123 load board search directory. You got the safer register. And you also got, here's another one. And this is in the load board as well. DAT Trucker's Edge. Okay. Remember, the only caveat to DAT Trucker's Edge is that it's a one user license. So hopefully I'm not going to kick anybody out, but more than likely it is. So I'm going to hit that. But the moment I do it, I want to hit tools. Once I log into the Trucker's Edge, I go to tools, drop down and do DAT directory. Okay. And then I immediately go back to that previous tab that I was logged into it and sign out. Okay. And I just take that tab away and go back to the DAT directory. So now here you have the 4 tabs: search directory, my office, manage reputation, carrier search. So under search directory, by default, the tab that you're looking for, it shows up by default. So you hit research business partners, and now we do the same thing. We're looking for, we leave the company name blank because we're looking for any company, not a specific one. The company type, we're looking for carriers. And then our city is, we'll say Ontario, California, okay? And it will say within a 100-mile radius, and we'll sort the result by the company name. You can sort by city, you can sort by company type, but generally by default, it's by company name. And you want to hit search, okay? And you come up with 500 matches, all these companies here. So these are carriers. The white space to the right is not going to populate until you select one of the companies, right? So now you have all this data for that particular company. This is actually a good resource because you can get more specific information about what they haul, what their commodities are. So when you call them, you have a little bit of leverage now. You know they haul general freight, paper products, and intermodal. So intermodals means they may have some power only units. Paper products and general freight means they may have dry vans, right? So to find that out, you can simply scroll down to, in most cases, that directory has an equipment section right here.
They give a lot of these.
Under the equipment section, they have 4 dry vans. So that's a company that you could potentially call. And you do the same thing with all the companies that you select. Okay, so that's a good resource because it has a specific information and data about the company. Okay. So.
Awesome, thank you.
You are welcome. Hopefully that helped. Hopefully that helped others too by seeing that. Real-time dispatching. How are you doing, sir? I can't hear you yet.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, sir. How are you?
Okay. I'm all right. This is my first class, so I'm excited.
Oh, okay, good. Welcome.
Yeah, I signed up 3 weeks ago though. For real. And I've been trying to figure out how to get into the portal and everything. I'm not too tech savvy like that. I just know how to talk. Okay. But I had a quick question. Like let's say that I have a carrier under contract. They signed the dispatching agreement and they're booking their own loads from time to time. And and they call me from time to time and say, I don't have no load, I need one. Is that a scenario that happens a lot? Do people have multiple dispatchers?
Yes, that is a scenario that happens a lot. They'll book their load going out, but then they may have a trouble finding a reload or what's called a backhaul going elsewhere. They'll call you, say, hey man, can you find me something? I booked my first load going here, but I can't find anything, coming out of here. Do you got something? I reached out to my other dispatchers. They can't seem to find anything.
Okay, so that's
this is how it happens. So carriers do have multiple dispatchers. They are only bound to pay the dispatcher that they agree to take the load under. So I can, as a carrier, I can have 3 dispatchers, but if you find me the best load at that point in time, and I book that load with you, then I'm contractually obligated to pay you. Okay.
Okay. So that's crazy. So the limited power of attorney,
right?
So they just hand that out.
So you do the limited power of attorney, the dispatcher agreement, and the carrier profile once for that carrier. that limited power of attorney is only comes into play when you are specifically funding the loads for that carrier at that time. Then you can do the contracts, the broker carrier agreements and the carrier and the rate confirmations for that carrier on that specific load that you are booking for them at that specific time. When they are dealing with other dispatchers, none of that comes into play because you're not dispatching for them.
Okay, yeah, I understand it. I understand. Yep.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Thanks. So that's all I need to know.
Okay, no problem. Soledad.
All right, I have a question. So on the loads that some of the brokers sent me, I see this, I just want clarification on what this means. I'll see a load like an example, because now it's like, I'm dealing with the bigger boys, It says rate 1,000 plus unload fee with receipt. What does that mean? Is that like
that is a lumper?
Okay.
That's a lumper. It's called a lumper. So unloading fee is either at the shipper or more likely the shipper, because they're first booking the load. Either at the shipper or the receiver. I am to assume that they are saying that they're going to pay the 1,000, the line haul rate, and then if the carrier has to pay for the lumper fee, they need a receipt from the carrier proving that they pay for that lumper fee so that they can reimburse the carrier for that service. Okay?
So wait, so when the carrier goes to the shipper, they're gonna have a fee ready to pay the lumper? Is that what you're saying?
Right, right. Sometimes the carrier pays the lumper and then get a receipt for paying it so they can reimburse. Other times the brokers roll the lumper fee into the rate. Other times the broker has to send what's called a T code or some kind of code to the facility to cover that lumper. So the carrier don't have to pay it. In that third instance where the carrier needs to produce a code from the broker to cover that lumper, the carrier needs to get from the facility the name of the facility, the tax ID of the facility, and the amount of the lumper. Give that either to the dispatcher or the broker directly if they are not working with a dispatcher, so that the broker can produce a code to give back to that facility so that they can enter into their system to cover that cost of that lumper. Okay. In that third situation where they have to produce a T code. Otherwise, they'll either roll the cost, the payment of the lumper into the line haul rate, the all-in rate or whatever, or they will say, hey, you pay this lumper either by cash, credit card, or however, get the receipt. So when you invoice us for the regular payment that we owe you for the load, we'll pay you that other amount that you paid for that lumper, and we'll reimburse you that as well.
Okay. And that first scenario, it'll be on the rate con?
It should be on the rate con. Remember, we are dealing with brokers. So it should. Typically it is. They have to disclose that stuff. Most times you're not supposed to get surprised by a lot of stuff, but yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Kay Isaiah.
Hello. Okay, I'm back with another question. I think you've answered part of my question with the other young lady who you were going through the different load boards and looking through the different criteria of all the carriers. So that was awesome. But I've only been so far on the FMCSA website and looking for carriers there. I was kind of also making myself a cold list, and I was just thinking, and I just wanted to know if my question had any logic to it. Should I be concentrating on people who have miles, and the people who don't have miles don't have an active authority yet? Or because it says like active, but they have no miles. I don't understand that.
So where are you looking at where it says miles at? Are you on the Safer website looking at that?
Yes, sir.
So I'm assuming it's, I see what you're saying, down at the bottom right, where it says the number of miles that they have driven for the previous year or the current year.
Yes, it makes it like they're active and then they're carrier. I know you said something about don't mess with them if they're carrier/brokers.
Right.
And if there's one unit, one driver, or maybe it's 2 and 2 or something like that. But then also in a little corner down at the bottom, I think you pointed out the fact about miles. And some of them, you know, were approved. Like I'm looking at a list from November. I think this list was ran in November, and one carrier they have a 2-2 and they have 75K miles. And then I have another that's like it looks like they have filed for it. And well, I'm not going to do about the ones who filed for it, because you said it could take whenever time they get their information in. But there's another one from August who has 150,000 miles.
Right.
And
He probably driven that the previous year. It should say, it may have the previous year like in parentheses or something, like 2020 or 2019. But yeah, the miles, so you will get some brokers who they won't even look at that. They'll just look at their authority and may even give them a chance whether their authority is new or they've been running under that authority for a while. So I don't want to say the miles is not a big deal, but it's not a deal breaker. So, okay. All right.
Uh-oh, I'm sorry. Someone was calling. You said they're not a big deal, but they're what?
They're not. So not having a lot of miles is not a deal breaker. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. And then if I was to choose, like, I really want to take your class, I really, really do. And I caught COVID the week that I was supposed to be trying to take the class. And anyway, I was just all in a whole nother world with it, but thank God for healing. But if I have to get one load board, what would you say to go with? What would be your recommendation?
One load board, I would say one of the top three, either a series of DAT, 1, 2, 3 load board, or truck stop. So if you select the DAT family, the family of DAT, I would either start with DAT Trucker's Edge or DAT Pro, because DAT Express and DAT Power, those are broker level load boards, and you are a dispatcher dispatching for a carrier, so you would need a carrier level load board. So if you select the DAT family, I would say DAT, again, DAT Trucker's Edge or DAT Pro. Otherwise, it'll be truck stop or 1, 2, 3 load board. 1, 2, 3 load board, the premium edition, truck stop, either the regular one or truck stop pro. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. John Jalen, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, please correct me.
Yes. Hey, how you all? This is John Jalen. That's correct.
Okay.
This is basically my first time here. I excited to be here, but I haven't had a chance to really go back through the old videos besides the orientations and setup. But I had a question back there two questions actually with the loading board, with the login. I noticed when I was just trying to go look at a loading board, when I got in, it said that somebody else was signed in, and if I signed in, it would log me out. So
right.
my question is, are we all under the same?
Right. So that load board you're looking at is the DAT Trucker's Edge, correct?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so I don't know if you were here earlier when I mentioned that of the 6 load board, that is the only one that has that one user license issue where if it only allows one person to be logged in. So if you decide to use the Trucker's Edge, that would be the risk that you're taking. The only reason why I know it's frustrating with that one load board, the only reason why I keep it there, and I'm seriously considering taking it off, but it has a great resource for finding carriers. It's called the DAT directory. That's the only reason why I'm keeping it. I don't even use the load board feature.
Oh yeah, it can stay there. I would prefer it stays there because that's a big discount by using the team's code. So I just want to know if I should just not sign in and just wait.
So what I was going to mention also too, the two alternatives back here would be load board number 2 and load board number 4. 1, 2, 3 and direct freight services. They provide just as much user experience as the Trucker's Edge. Most people are kind of spoiled and they're used to using Trucker's Edge. So when they go to other load boards, they don't know how to navigate it. The user interface is a little bit different. But once you get used to it, you'll discover that it has the same functionality as Trucker's Edge, load board number 2 and load board number 4. And it doesn't have the vice of kicking you out when someone else logs in. So
okay. Well, yeah, I appreciate that loading board as well. So I'll
Okay.
just try to be considerate. If I see somebody else is on, I'll just try like a few minutes, 5 to 10 minutes later. See.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, and I had one more question.
Okay.
I had kind of, what percentage do we, as new dispatchers, what percentage do you recommend we ask for?
Great question. So as a dispatching company, you can either charge a percentage per load that you book for the carrier, or you can charge a flat rate per week that you move loads for that carrier. So if you're going to take the flat rate range, it's between, I would say, $250 and $500 per week, and you decide what that number is for your company. You have total freedom. If it's the percentage range per load, it's between 5 and 10%. I often tell new dispatchers to go with the middle ground, 7%. That says that you're not new, and it also says you're not like experienced or an expert. You're kind of like in the middle. So between 5 and 7 if you're going to go the percentage route. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
All right. The Kia coolers.
Hey, yes. How everybody doing?
How you doing?
Good. So my question is, do you have to be a carrier or a broker to access the load board?
So to access a subscription to load boards requires to have an MC or a DOT number.
Okay.
Okay. Some load boards offer a free version, and some of them have like promotional things going on where it doesn't require MCs and DOTs. But for the most part, the major players do the MC and DOT number for the load board. So for you, independent dispatchers, the way to get around it, if you're not in our portal where I share my logins, because I've already been past that stage of having an MC requiring and all that stuff. So that's how I get access. But if you are not a member of this portal, or you are and you want to purchase your own, like for example, you're tired of being kicked out of DAT, Truckers Ed, so you say, I want to just get my own one. If you have a carrier under a dispatcher agreement already, then you can just simply ask them, hey, let me use your MC number to purchase this better paying load board. I will pay for it so I can find you better paying loads. Of course, the carrier is going to agree because he said, okay, if you're going to find me better paying loads, you can use my MC. You're my dispatcher anyway. Go ahead. Okay. So that's the workaround.
Okay, gotcha. And another question I had, when looking for new carriers, like what should you look for? What kind of carrier should you target?
You target the carriers that are the interstate carriers of common carriers of property except household goods. They're interstate. You target the carriers who equipment types fall under the 3 major equipment type category. They are either a 53-foot dry van, a 53-foot refrigerated temperature controlled trailer, what we call reefers, and then a 48 or 53-foot flatbed category. Those are the top 3 that you target, because as new dispatching companies, it's easier for you as an entry point into this industry as a dispatcher to target those, because those are out here on the roads the most. You can find loads on the load boards for them the easiest, and they pay the better rates. So that's the reason. Now you have the other specialized equipment types, but you're going to pull your hair out, like box trucks, Sprinter vans, cargo vans, things like that. But those are the ones that we try to have you start off targeting in the beginning. Okay.
Mr. Charles? Hello?
All right. Yeah, 1 second, whoever just came on.
Yeah,
all right,
okay.
so, okay.
Okay, all right. Thank you for answering my question.
Okay, so next is Linda.
Hey, Charles, how you doing?
Okay.
Hello, you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm okay, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you just fine.
Okay, so you have a question?
You hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now I have a question just about the case studies, finding the load for the carrier that you gave us.
Okay.
Okay, and okay, like I'm want to just go to the end of the paragraph where it says, and his goal average is 6,000 to 8,000 per week. Okay. So am I looking for, like, say for instance, I'm looking, okay, I got on last night and I was practicing and on study 1. And it said his goal is to average 6,000 to 8,000 per week. So am I looking for like 2 loads to total up to this amount? Or, I mean, because, I'm not going, I guess you went on a carrier profile as far as, putting all this together, but it just confused me, this at the end. So what do you mean by that when you say?
When I say average 6,000 to 8,000 a week?
Yeah, you want me, let me read it. Okay, case study 1. This case study will be based on a 53-inch flatbed carrier whose profile states that he does not want to haul more than 46,000 pounds. He does not want to drive more than 1,000 miles from his home of Houston, Texas. He wants at least $2.40 a mile going out and about $1.75 to $2 coming back haul. He also has the accessories to haul with his all of that.
Right.
And at the end, you said his goal is to average 6,000 to 8,000 per week. So see, I was in 1, 2, 3 load board and I was putting all this information in and I was looking for loads, but it just confused me because I mean, you say his goal is to average 6,000 to 8,000 a week. If this is not a carrier that I'm working with all week, and say for instance, I'm just working with him for this one time.
Then if you're just working for him for that one time, then you're obviously not going to meet that goal.
True.
Right?
Okay.
So unless you find him and those specifications, he only wants to travel within 1,000 miles.
Right.
Okay. So
Okay.
let's say you find him a load going out 400 miles and it's paying $1,500. Okay. And then you find him another load coming back that's paying $2,000, which is another 300 miles, right? And then you find him another load that's going another 200 miles, paying another $1,500. So 15, and 2, that's 3, that's 3, so that's only 5. So you got close to that 6,000. So you're grossing that 6,000 to 8,000 a week for that carrier. Now be mindful too that right now, since there is a truck shortage in the industry right now, and brokers and shippers need capacity, in other words, they need trucks to run their freight, the carriers are dictating the prices and the rates are actually higher than normal. So 6,000 to 8,000 a week for a carrier grossing. Now 1,000 miles may be unrealistic to make 6,000 to 8,000. So that scenario may be a little off as far as the number of miles, but to gross $6,000 to $8,000 a week for a carrier of that equipment type category, either a flatbed, dry van, or reefer, right now is pretty easy. We got carriers that are making between 8 and 10, well, grossing between 8 and 10,000 a week over the road carriers. They're grossing it because the rates are higher now because there's a truck shortage. There's a capacity need. So understanding the market, you'll be able to say, okay, yeah, that's 6 to 8 number. That's real easy right now these days. So
go ahead.
The only thing that may have thrown you off, well, I can't say the only thing because I don't know, but everything else falls in the line on that profile, but the 1,000 miles may have been. So if I was to eliminate the 1,000 miles and say, this carrier will go 20, let's say he'll do 2,500 miles a week, which is still, most carriers can average between 25 and 3,000 miles a week if you're averaging 500 to 600 miles a day, 5 days, 7 days a week. So if you're averaging 2,500 miles a week and you're doing it at $2 or $3 a mile, then you can, if you take that cents per mile, multiply by the number of miles per week, you want to get to that goal. You're going to gross that.
Okay.
Okay.
So now you said like if I found them 3 loads and it kind of totaled up to that amount, I still have to find him 3 loads coming back
No,
home?
you would find him, you might do a triangular thing, not a tri-haul, but a triangular thing. So if you look at a map, let's say you found him a load coming out of, let's say Columbus, Ohio, going down to Georgia, and then going from Georgia over to Texas, and then going from Texas back up to Ohio, back home. So those 3 loads could have grossed him between $6,000 and $8,000 a week for that week.
Okay. So that don't mean I still have to just do a backhaul. Do I still need to have to do a backhaul on that, or that's
so a backhaul? The only thing is a backhaul and a reload are pretty much the same thing. So if you find the first load, let's use that same scenario: Columbus to Georgia, Georgia to Texas, Texas to Columbus. So if you find a load from Columbus to Georgia, that's a line haul load. That's your first load. The load coming out of Georgia going to Texas, that's a reload or a backhaul getting you out of that area. That's, you can call it that. Some people think a backhaul is just going back to where you came from, Columbus. Not necessarily. A backhaul is a load getting you out of where you currently are.
Right.
So he went from Columbus down to Georgia, get me out of Georgia. You can call it a backhaul, you can call it a reload, you can just call get me a load, whatever term you know. So
okay, I understand a little better now. I understand. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Yeah, I've been I was doing this last night. I was practicing.
Okay, good.
I was practicing, so thanks a lot.
Okay, next in the line. Yes.
Charles is right there. I apologize for interrupting, but those case studies are great, and they're a wonderful way to actually practice with some real time, you know, just
really
something that would happen. Is there any way that we could get some more of those?
I would just have to come from the dome and bring some out based off of my experience. Yes, I can do that. That's not a problem.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, they really are. They really are great, you know, so I'm gonna practice on it again tonight. Thanks.
Yep. Yes, and these types of questions are covered in the reading materials. Yes, to answer Vincent's question in the chat. Cassandra is next. Cassandra, how I'll make sure I pronounce it.
Good evening, Mr. Charles. Good evening, everyone else. So my question is, I'm trying to understand the steps from, okay, after the carrier returns their onboarding documents,
okay,
the credit app and the notice of assignment goes to who?
So
the factoring company?
No, the factory companies are the ones who have the credit applications and the notice of assignment documents. So when your carrier, let's say your carrier that you onboarded with you got set up as a dispatcher, has a factory company. So when the carrier returns the dispatcher agreement and the carrier profile to you and the limited power of attorney to make that official, they are also sending you copies of their onboarding documents that you will need when you onboard them with brokers, because you need those copies, the copy of their MC authority, copy of their certificate of insurance, a copy of their W-9. And since they have a factory company, you want to get a blank credit app, a copy of that, so you send copies to every broker you're dealing with. So let's say you send your first blank credit application from your carrier's factory company to the broker. The purpose of the credit application from the factory company to the broker, the factory company needs to make sure that the broker is credit worthy or factorable in order to factor those loads. That's why the carrier has a factory company to protect the carrier, to make sure that they're dealing with brokers that's going to pay them. So the credit app gets certain information from the broker. They fill it out, they return it to you or straight to the factory company through the carrier. And now the factory company is going to take that filled out credit application from that broker and do a credit check to decide whether they are credit worthy or not, or factorable or not. If they are, then the factory company is going to send out the notice of assignment to the broker saying, hey, we determined that you were factorable, that you're credit worthy. We want to assign payment from you to our client, the carrier, to you, to us, the factory company, because now we're going to be dealing with you as far as payment and we'll pay the carrier. That's how the factoring process works.
Okay, got it.
Okay, all right. Next is Victor. Mr. Victor. Unmute yourself if you don't mind.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, sir. How are you?
All right. God bless everybody. I have a few questions.
Okay.
It's about formulas. I heard you talking before about how you you know, I speak more Spanish than English, but I heard you talking about how you calculate how much fuel you're gonna spend through miles. Once you see on the low board and you want to find out how much gas, how much fuel you're gonna spend. What was
right.
that?
So
what was
so
that
as
formula?
So that's mainly the responsibility of the truck driver to know how much they're going to pay in fuel as opposed to the dispatcher. But if you want to be a type of dispatcher that helps that carrier with that, that'll be good. So to figure out the rate of fuel, you would have to know the drive-in, the flatbed, and the reefer gets about, what is that, 5 to 6 miles to the gallon, right? Do you agree with that, Mr.
Yes, yes.
Victor? Okay, so they get 5 to 6 miles to the gallon. So you would have to say, well, how many miles is that particular load that you're trying to book for them? How many miles is, let's say that the load that you're booking for them has to cover 1,000 miles, right?
Okay.
And your truck, let's say your truck gets 6 miles to the gallon, okay? So what you're gonna do to figure out fuel costs and the amount you have to pay for fuel is, you're going to take that 6 miles to the gallon and divide it into, or into the 1,000. So you're on that particular load, it drives 1,000 miles. So you're gonna say, okay, well, I'm gonna take 1,000 and divide it by 6 miles to the gallon. And that's going to give me how many gallons I need to run that 1,000 miles. You follow me so far?
Yes.
So 1,000 divided by 6 is 166.67 gallons. Okay?
Okay.
You with me so far?
Yes, sir.
So now you take, okay, well, wherever that driver is, now you got to take the 167. I mean, yeah, we'll round up 167 because 166.66666 is 167. So we're going to round up. Okay. So 167 gallons. So now you got to ask yourself, wherever that driver is located, how much are they going to pay for diesel fuel? What's the price per gallon? What's the average price per gallon nowadays out here for diesel fuel?
I think it's three. I have no idea.
So let's say it's 325 a gallon. Okay. So you're going to take that 167 gallons and you're going to multiply times $3.25 per gallon. And that's going to give you $542.75. That's how much you're paying for diesel fuel that driver is paying for diesel fuel to run that specific load at 1,000 miles. That's how you calculate the amount of fuel. Your driver should know this, right? This is something that the driver should know more so than the dispatcher. But if you as a dispatcher is able to calculate this for the driver, that will obviously look good in front of the driver. It's impressive because if you got a dispatcher that can figure out my gallons and help me with my bottom line, then obviously you can leverage that as a dispatcher with other drivers who don't know that, because some drivers don't know their numbers. Some drivers file their taxes incorrectly, losing all types of money. But so that's how you do it. You take the number of miles that carrier is currently running on that particular load, 1,000 miles, 500, and you divide it by the miles per gallon for that truck, usually between 5 to 6 miles a gallon. That'll give you the number of gallons they need to run that specific load. You multiply that number times the price for diesel fuel, whatever that dollar cost is, and that'll give you the amount that you have to pay, or I keep saying your carrier has to pay for fuel. Okay.
One more question.
Yes, sir.
A driver can on 10 hours they can drive. That's most likely like 500 miles, right?
So the number of miles they can drive is dictated by the amount of hours they have, hours of service. So yes, most carriers have, and so there's 24 hours in a day, right? And carriers have to they can be on duty for 14 hours, 11 of which they can drive straight, 11 of which, and then they have to take a 10-hour reset. So that equals the 24 hours in a day. 14 plus 10 is 24. So 10 hours they're resting, that truck is not moving, they're doing their reset in their clock. 14, they can be on duty. 11 within that 14 they can drive. So if you're driving 11, let's say you're driving 11 hours straight. And if you're driving at 65, 60, so the average speed on the interstate, the major interstates like I-75, I-90, I-80s is about what, 65, 70 miles an hour, right? So let's say 65, let's take the low number. So if you're driving at 65 miles an hour and you're driving 11 miles straight, 11 hours straight, I'm sorry, then that's 715 miles.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. God bless you.
You're welcome. God bless you too, brother. Michael Moore.
Yeah, when we spoke earlier this week, you said you kind of wanted me to kind of share my experience getting my first carry and everything.
Can you, if you here Saturday, can we share that there? Because I want to make sure I get through these questions before.
Yeah, definitely.
Just remind me, if you come into the training on Saturday, just remind me and you can share your experience, because people need to hear how you got your carrier, what techniques you use and things like that. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll start off with that too. All right. Next, Kay Bennett.
Wait, Ms. Bennett.
Kay Bennett. The name is Kaybennett. Kay Bennett.
Hey there, Charles. How you doing?
Okay, how are you?
I'm well. This is actually Jordan. We talked over the phone not too long ago. I actually already have the answer to my question. My apologies, but
okay.
What you got going on and what this? So just to get a understanding, this here what's going on now is just the overview of totality of what's going on your website, correct?
Right. So Wednesday nights we have like basic level training. We introduce the new students. We give an overall theme, and we do Q&A. Saturdays we do some of the same, and then Sundays is more intermediate, where we get into load board navigation, load planning, scenarios, dealing with brokers, negotiating. So yes.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
All right. Carmen.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. So my question, I asked that on the chat, but I wanted to know, when creating the website, should we include documentation such as carrier profile, the dispatch agreement, and the limited POA? What was your advice?
So when you're creating the website, you mean if you want to make your forms that the carrier needs to fill out, if you want to make them fillable on a website?
Or just download them as PDF, like have better access. Okay. Is that recommended?
Yeah, that's definitely recommended. Yeah, if you can make it more convenient for your carrier to fill those forms out and get them back to you as quickly as possible. Yeah, anything that's more convenient, yes, definitely.
Okay.
All right. All right. Who's next? I see a
Tyrancia at the Venno basket. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Tyrancia.
Nicole, what is this called?
Hi, you already answered my question with the last guy about the rate per mile.
Okay.
So you covered it already.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Vikia. Let me mute. I have some background noise. Give me 1 second. The next person is last name is Cullars, Cullars.
Yes, I had another question.
Okay.
So if you got a carrier that's power only, is it more difficult to find loads for them?
Not as difficult as would it be for a box truck, sprinter van, and cargo van, but it won't be as easy as the carriers who have trailers. So you can still find loads for power only. You can go to the ports. You can do what's called loadouts and towaways, dropping hooks. So there are loads for power only. Power only type of carriers, guys, are those carriers who have just the tractor and not the trailer along with that tractor. Okay, so let me show you what that is. In module 1, you get the images of those trucks, those different types of truck types. So you see some of these trucks got trailers with them, right? The trailers, the power onlys are this right here, just the unit, the power unit without a trailer, okay? So you can find loads for them, not as easy as you can for in some regions, I take that back. In some regions of the country, not as easy as you can for the tractor trailers, okay? This is the tractor without a trailer, but you got tractor trailer, okay?
Okay, and you said the best way to find carriers for those type of, for power only, were ports, and what else?
You got like port work, picking up containers and stuff like that. You got going to doing dropping hooks, doing loadouts and towaways. So when you do search for power only loads on the load boards, you'll get a list of loads. And then when you call the brokers, they'll tell you the specific type of power only movement that they want this unit to do, whether it's a drop and hook, a loadout, a towaway, going to the ports, whatever. So you'll get that description of the type from the broker.
Okay.
All
Okay,
right?
gotcha. All right, thank you.
All right. Rudy Ruth.
I'm hold on, you have to wait a second. I'm doing something. So my question to you is, I'm not too sure if this is well, today's my first day for one, let me say this. And my question to you is, earlier I heard you guys mention that a carrier can have more than one dispatch, but if that carrier is working through a company as the owner operator, like if you're an owner operator and you're working through a company, are they allowed to have more than one dispatcher from a different company?
So that's a great question. Let me give you two scenarios to kind of bring home the point. So if you are an owner operator, you have your own truck and trailer, but you are running under the authority of a carrier company, yes, with a fleet or whatever, right? Sometimes that carrier company in the contract will stipulate that only our internal dispatcher can find work for you. Okay. Other times they will allow the owner operator to find their own loads.
Okay.
In the case where they have the owner operator allow them to find their own loads, then the owner operator can say, hey, I can use as many dispatchers as possible. But if they are bound by the contract to just work with the internal dispatcher of the company that they're running under the authority of, then that's what they are according to the contract. So you have to, know what the situation is with that.
Okay, it depends on the contract, basically.
It depends on the contract. So you're running under that authority, you're paying them a certain percentage of the gross for week, like 20 to 25% or whatever that number is. Right? So yeah, but then, and you want to specify, well, if I'm paying you this much, are you going to dispatch my truck so I can find loads to cover this cost? Or do I have to struggle finding my own loads and still owe you 20 to 25%? So you have to determine that concept there.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and last but not least, we're 7 minutes over, but I think the last person was John Jocelyn Savage. I think they put their hand down. Do you still have a question?
Yeah, they did put their hands down. I was wondering where they went.
Yeah, John Jolyn Savage. So if not, then that's fine. Great class, guys. Thank you very much. It went smooth. It went in order. It was very structured. And everybody was respectful of everybody's time and the order that they asked their question in. LaDonna moderated the entree pretty well. And so that's how it should be going forward, okay? And will be going forward, right? So we want to be respectful for the order of people asking questions. I will instruct for a certain period of time on a particular topic. Next trainings, I'll probably announce what the subject will be. In the trainings, we'll go over that specific subject that was announced, and then we can ask questions specifically about that subject. And then if you have questions outside of that subject, we want to wait until we get all the questions answered by the members on that specific subject before we go to the questions outside of the subject. So we want to be mindful of the subject for that evening. Okay, so that's the format that we want to follow. All right, but so the next training, welcome to the new people. Hopefully the navigating of the site, showing you where everything is. This is recorded, so you can go back in our training videos library where we showed you where that was located, right? In the training videos library, and watch the videos. I'm gonna have this either uploaded later on tonight or early tomorrow morning for you guys. And the next training, of course, if you go to the Access Zoom trainings, so I usually send out emails the first few times. After that, it's always on the website. All you got to do is go to the first link under Dispatcher 101, which says access live Zoom trainings, and it shows the 3 days that we have our trainings and clicking the button to join. Wednesdays at 6, Saturday at noon, and Sunday at 11. Same day and times every week, unless we announce a cancellation for some reason. If you are not a member of our private Facebook group, Dispatcher 101 members only, please join that. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, Dispatcher 101 Training for Beginners, please subscribe. The reason being is because we provide real-time updates and real-time announcements on those mediums, those social media platforms, so that you can stay updated. Because sometimes I can't reach everybody via email, but the social media is probably the quickest way to get updated. So please join those platforms as well. And LaDonna, I think she just put them in the chat, saving your chat. If you don't know how to save the chat, I'm about to get off. If you don't know how to save it, just send me an email. I will send you a copy of the chat tonight. Okay. Again, welcome to the new members. You're about to have a journey in this industry, dispatching in the transportation industry. Take your time, unless you don't have time, but take your time, learn it at your own pace. This is a self-paced training platform. The members portal is self-paced. Go at your pace. Do not feel like you're in a race with other people. That is not the purpose of this portal. Go at your own pace. Whenever you're comfortable, that's when you act and do what you need to do. So take your time. I am always available, readily available. So I can be reached by phone, email, pigeon, however. So, but I will see you guys on Saturday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. We are getting ready for a major snowstorm coming through Virginia, but hopefully we still will have power. If there is an issue with power, I will try to announce it through my phone that we don't have power and we may not have training, but we are having a snowstorm starting tomorrow night through Saturday, late Saturday. So just wanted to make that announcement, be mindful of that. So I will keep you guys updated on the forecast, okay? So good night, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week and be safe out there.
Thank you, Mr. Charles.
Thank you.